So, I mean, usually what you're simulating in something like this is like coming into land, kind of slow down and act like we're coming in. Flaps out. So first of all, what you do, you want to get into like slow flight conditions here. So I'm going to put some flaps out. It's going to kind of hang really slow. If you look down, you'll suddenly notice we're not really going very far.
Yeah.
Now you just kind of, you can just feel. I mean, we're not doing much. But this is simulating like if you're coming into land, and you know, you let it get too slow and pull back, and bam. And so you pull the throttle to idle, keep it in coordinated, and the nose will just drop when it stalls. So we're actually, see, that's it. That's it. It's pretty benign. We stall. I mean, right there. So lower the nose, power back in, and you're flying again. And if you watch the airspeed, and you hear the tall horn. I mean, that's the benign example. You can make it brake a little bit harder, but basically, yeah, that's what you're.
Oh shit.
That's fine. I was just showing you a little, you know, that's a little more benign, or a little less benign. And so the thing you're doing there is you got to keep it coordinated with the rudder. And so you don't want each wing, you cannot correct with the ailerons at all. That is bad, because if you do, what's going to happen, feedback up here, but what's going to happen is you're going to get all that drag, because, you know, if I turn right, or if I turn left, for example, you watch, that aileron goes down, right? Yeah. And so if you do that, when you're like in that configuration, already going so slow, it's going to pull that wing back, it's going to catch the air, and it'll basically stall that unevenly, and that's going to give you into spin. So the spin is where the wings are not stalled at the same rate. Okay. So that's why when you're doing a stall, you want to keep it level. Cleaned up the rest of the way. And so yeah, that's important. So if you were the rudder, all you're trying to do is just keep it, you know, level. Because as long as they're stalled evenly, you'll actually get into a condition they call a falling leaf. And you'll just be sitting there, kind of just literally doing this down out of the sky. If you look from the outside. It doesn't feel like that so much when you're inside. Yeah. But that's kind of what you're doing. And so yeah, I mean that's a power off stall. A power on stall, I mean, you do the same thing, you just get the nose really far up, and I'm not going to do it right now, but just because of the weight on this, but a power on, same thing, but because of all that torque of the engine, it is much more inclined to snap over, especially in this airplane. Just the way that the aerodynamics are in this one, like compared to the 172, the four-seater, that thing, I mean, I did them yesterday, it just kind of sits there. This thing, on the other hand, if you don't have the rudder just right, and you stall like at a pretty good angle, it will snap that wing. Like you'll be like this out of nowhere. That's crazy. But you can't correct with these. You got to use your rudder to avoid going into a spin. And I have actually spun this, although you can't do that anymore, as you can see. The main thing with the forward slit, it's just a way to lose altitude without gaining airspeed, or one way to look at it. And so what we're going to do, you're basically throwing side of the airplane into the wind to kind of help, you know, bump it, lose some of the aerodynamicness of it. And so, I mean, to do that traditionally, you're going to want to be at idle because you don't want power if you're trying to lose. And so if we just go to idle here, and what you do, you use aileron and opposite rudder, so you're trying to throw it. It's very similar. It's the like when you're in a car, you know, and you skid when you're sliding out to the outside of the corner. It's the exact opposite of that. So you feel like you're falling inward. Oh, weird. And so yeah, I'll just go to idle here. And all I'm going to do, full right rudder and left, and if you look, if you look which direction we're actually going, the nose is pointed there, but we're headed that way. Yeah. And look how fast we're losing altitude. We're losing altitude at 2,000 feet a minute without gaining any airspeed. You can feel it in your ears probably. And so that's all the forward slip is really. It's just a way to do that. Cool. And if, for example, you know, like your flaps broke on this airplane, that you use that at landing. Okay. It actually happened to me once. The flaps weren't working in here, and I had to use that to land. But again, in a Cub or something, it's all you have, so it just kind of becomes second nature. Yeah. There are no flaps, so you have to know how to do it.